Thank you for joining us. This conversation is continued from our last episode. You can find that link in the description. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to Shoot the Breeze, a podcast that celebrates the messiness of life, relationships, and Christianity. It's creatively titled because it will be just us shooting the breeze, sometimes with guests, while occasionally saying something important. We hope you enjoy.
Well, no, that was my next question. Yes. What was your mental health like? And okay,
wait, back then, back.
Let's say 15 to when you met Lacey. I'm sorry, no, when you started to put what would become your teaching into practice.
Right.
Because I imagine you were probably like me, where I would have these really emotional apologies.
No.
Okay, I was way better than you.
Wait. Up to when we're married.
Yeah, but that period up to...
Yeah. Okay, where, I would apologize.
You go off and sin.
Yeah.
And then you feel terrible, and you're like, I'm never going to do this again if you just help me.
Okay.
I won't do this. And then Saturday night rolls around, it's payday, and you're back at the... Well, for me, it was back at the bar.
Right.
Chasing women.
No, when I would...
I didn't catch any.
I knew, just to be clear, I knew it was wrong, so when I would... Let me back up. Back up to youth group days, kind of...
my point is, I imagine it would have created a lot of emotional baggage. These two lifestyles.
Well, I would argue I had no emotional baggage because I didn't have emotions. It's like having a car with no wheels or anything. You're not going to drive it anywhere. But
look, because you and Chelsea are so much alike, and I guess Lacey and I tend to be more alike. Yeah. Where we hold on to everything we've ever done.
Yeah.
And you and Chelsea are like, no, I moved on from that.
Well, okay, here's what's weird though. I used to, that was part of my insecurity, is holding on to everything that I had done. Mm-hmm. And kind of the, I'm a worm. So I would be emotional towards I'm a worm. But then when stuff would happen to other people, I'd be like, eh. Like I said in the book, I just had no emotional response.
I got you.
So inwardly...
So no empathy.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
Not even basic human empathy that I feel like most humans have. I've had to learn what that is. I know someone listening who's a psychologist is like, he's a sociopath. Probably so. Sociopath, psychopath. I don't know. But no. So going back to when I was 15, the thing that I would use is pornography, or just to drown out life in general. It's not like I would watch pornography 24/7. Movies. I was a cinephile, and it was all 90s movies. Just terrible movies.
The best decade ever.
No. What I'm saying is the movies, they were terrible movies.
B-roll stuff.
No, it's just your...
Give us a non-gross
teen pop 90s movies.
Your teen... Scream, or...
No, that's a good one.
I've never watched
okay, so take your Cruel Intentions.
Okay.
Your American Pies. But I mean, it wasn't just that. I just had...
Absolute garbage. Gotcha.
Exactly. Absolute garbage. There was one movie. Okay, of all the things that I'd watched back in high school, there was one movie where I was like, oh, I feel like I do still have the Holy Spirit. Because when I watched it, when I was done, I was like, I need to throw that movie away. This is in my darkest years of watching whatever I wanted.
What was it?
8mm.
Oh, the Eminem movie.
No. No, 8mm was with Joaquin Phoenix. I forget who was in it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was bad.
It's a gross movie, and I'm not advocating it.
Never
obviously.
Watched it. Yeah.
No, I remember watching it in my bedroom because it had pornography in it, and I was like, ooh, free boob.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those movies.
Like Titanic.
Titanic was a masterpiece. Do not disparage Titanic. I watched it so many times in the theaters. Not even for that scene. Not even. I love Titanic. But no, I remember watching that one, and I like when it was done, I turned it off. I'm like, I gotta throw this away. That was gross. Like that was gross. Anyways,
So when I was a kid,
that's how I would cope. That was the answer to that.
okay, I can relate to that. I watched a ton of movies. My grandmother would mail us things she recorded off TV because we didn't have cable. But when we go visit her, we had cable.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would stay up all night watching whatever was on.
Yeah.
Classic movie channel, Fox movie channel when it was still there, before it became FX, and then
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
USA.
Yeah.
After dark.
Yeah, that's right.
With all those "Call Me Now" commercials.
When I would go over to my brother's house, I always like going over there because he had channels like that.
So I was about 9 years old when I saw Jaws.
Okay.
Okay, and it was on a marathon. It was a Jaws marathon.
Oh, so like, did they have like three? Three,
No,
right?
no, it was just the same movie over and over.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But I was like 8 or 9 years old, and of course, it's 2 a.m, and all of a sudden I'm on an island, so you can't get off the bed because there's a shark out there.
Yeah, right.
I ended up watching the movie like 4 times.
Oh my goodness.
It did not bother me by the 4th time.
Yeah, right.
I was like, all right, we're going to bed now.
Well, okay.
But that constant.
Hold on. Add to this, okay? Also, every other year, I would spend a couple months in the hospital. During that, no family. My mom would come and visit when she could, especially when I was younger. But what did I have to do? Movies. Yeah. Like, they had the movies channel. Like, one of my favorite movies growing up was League of Their Own. Because it would be on a marathon. Like, so I would just watch League of Their Own.
Oh.
But no,
that
right?
Explains a lot.
That's how I coped, is movies. I would just drown out whatever in movies.
So it was really just you living vicariously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Yeah. It would be whatever, like I said, generally the young adult teen movie of the month, living vicariously. Like, I wish I had that life. Because I was not a ladies' man or anything like that. I was dumb. I was small.
Weren't you the guy? Wasn't your pickup line like, "Hey, I can't have kids"? Didn't you tell me that?
I did. Yeah. There's a few. There's a few where I was like, whatever we do, don't worry. There's not consequences.
All right, so we're gonna jump forward just a little bit. I'm gonna read another excerpt here. So, same chapter.
Okay.
Okay, this is the youth pastor story. So you already kind of alluded to this, so I won't read it. But basically, you're working as youth pastor. You're living in church housing. You get sent to a conference or a training or something in another state.
No, at a clinic, at a hospital.
Oh, a hospital appointment.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're like, I'm having a bad day. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go to a strip club.
Yeah. So at that time,
Did you use like the company card or something?
No, it was free.
No, I meant okay.
The company card. Like, how did I get found out?
No, yeah. Did you just come clean or?
I ratted myself out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not that you shouldn't have. I was just wondering, like.
No, there was a couple things happening. One, I was being vetted. The youth pastor at the time was going to plant a church, and I was kind of becoming essentially was going to be the new youth pastor.
Right.
And with that, some insurance things were taking place that likely I was going to lose my insurance. If you guys are astute political people, this was during the Obama years, and there's different things taking place with Medicare and people making decisions on behalf of other people, whether or not they should get the drugs they should have.
Yeah.
And so it's just a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of weight and pressure and responsibility. And at that time in my life, I was just like, F it. No one's going to find out.
Yeah.
I'm in Minnesota. Lacey's in Alaska. Where I'm the assistant youth pastor, that's in Alaska. This is Minnesota, downtown Minneapolis, like whatever. So I went in and grabbed a root beer or something. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, when you just like feel like you need to vomit? And I was like, I've made a terrible decision.
Yeah.
And so
Instant remorse.
Yeah, I immediately get up, don't even finish my drink, and I leave. And so yeah, I held that one for probably about a month. And then I was just like, I gotta tell Lacey, I gotta tell the youth pastor, and that's when that transpired. So yeah.
Yeah. So
What?
well, because I know I've heard Lacey's version of this,
yeah,
and all the people that came up to her like,
yeah,
you know, there's a if you knew what to do with your man, he wouldn't have been there kind of comments, you know.
Well, or oh, I'm glad my husband doesn't struggle with that. To which me and Lacey are like, okay, we'll see you in 5 years.
Obviously, the church reaction was that you ultimately had to publicly apologize.
Yeah, because I was a public figure.
And then you had to leave.
We didn't have to leave the church,
but you had to leave the house.
We had to leave the parsonage.
Yeah.
Right? And we had to, and I obviously was released from my position.
But you later went back there, right, to work on their media team?
Yeah, we kept attending the church.
Yeah. So what was the reaction from the congregation? Was it all negative to you?
No, actually, the one-offs, I would say maybe a dozen people were like dumb responses.
Like church of 50, church of 500?
I think we were 1,500 at that time.
Oh, wow, mega church.
No, mega church is 2,500.
In Burnett, we're in a mega church.
But it's not. The definition of a mega church is 2,500.
Whatever.
It is. There's like a
No, there's not.
There is.
Yeah, who made that decision? The guy with the 2,500?
Mega.
I have a mega church.
Mega church internet.
You have just
no, because what happens is you have someone who has like 150, and half of them aren't their family, so they're like, "Oh, we're a mega church now." It's like, all right.
Or you have Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So what was the question?
So how did you not recover? Like, as in recover your standing? Yeah. How did you recover from that? Public shame. I mean, that's the way it was. You well deserved. Shame on you.
No, the night before, Lacey and I, God bless her, because she, I remember the nights leading up to it. Every night she would read a psalm of David, specifically talking about God's faithfulness, God's good. You restore the soul. You like all of these psalms, right? Psalm 139 was the big one for me, though.
We were just talking about one half of a marriage.
Yeah.
Talking offline.
Yeah.
Making decisions that have consequences for the entire family.
Yeah.
I guess I this is the moment where I've just put it together. Like Lacey and I have so much in common.
Yeah. Right. No. Yeah. You do. You do. No, but it's so that like that night. She was reading Psalms over me, and we just got into kind of giggling, like, you know what we could do? By the first service, so there was
3, right?
They had 3 services and a guest speaker that day.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're like, okay, by the 9 a.m. service, we could have already flown out of Anchorage and landed in Honolulu. Like, we were planning it out. Like, we were like, let's ditch this.
Let's just go work for YWAM and pretend this never happened.
No, no. And so it was like that night we were like, we could totally do this. But then, no. One of the pastor friends of ours who helped us walk through this, she, his wife told Lacey, she goes, one of the most incredible things I've ever seen is one of the pastors that we knew, there was a moral failure, and he stayed. He stayed, and he walked through the process of redemption, walked through the process of restitution, sorry.
He was the offender?
Yeah. So this is, I don't know the story. It was just relayed to Lacey via the, and so that was one of the big encouragements. Kind of the idea of like, okay, we could go to Hawaii, but what if we stayed? Like, what if we just stayed? And that's all it was, is we chose to stay. And yes, there's so much work. Do I believe they did it perfectly? No. We were really the first case that they ever had to do like church discipline on. No, they didn't do it perfectly.
You're so good at being positive. You're terrible at being negative.
What part of, like, I can...
No, did you...
You're so...
How low did you go before you could start to come back up? Because I mean, that's got to be I mean, I'm sure I could understand Lacey's perspective on this better than yours.
Yeah.
But I mean, you had to stand up there and tell everybody, hey, I went to the strip club when I was supposed to be at the hospital.
You know what? Okay, one of the motivating things for me was I don't want to be like my dad. Honestly, that conversation God had with me back whenever in between first and second year of Bible college was always constantly in my brain. Is that who you want to be? And so that was one of the internal motivators was, okay, I'm not going to be like my dad. I'm going to show people that being vulnerable is okay. I didn't like it.
No, who cares what you liked?
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, this isn't cherry, like...
Okay, what did you have to walk through between you and God in that moment? You just said that he reminded you that hypocrisy speech, right? He'd already told you you're being like your dad.
Yeah.
So that's your motivation?
Yeah.
Did you fight it?
Did I fight the...
Like, you're right, but I'm not going to... Like I did with my book.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah. That's why...
Did you see what I just did?
We looked up plane tickets to Honolulu. Like...
I get that.
Yeah.
I don't mean Lacey. Get her out of the picture.
Okay.
What's going on in your head?
So that...
What's the dialogue between you and God as... Because I know you enough to say, you didn't start out with... I gotta tell the truth.
No, it was.
Right?
It was.
There's a month there. There's a month gap where you were like, I don't want to tell him. So what's that dialogue? What were you convinced of? I won't use the word convicted because I think for you, people like you're the Holy Spirit convinces you. I get convicted. You get convinced.
No, I was convicted. Trust me.
Okay,
no, that's a new word I developed to be more positive. Okay. No, good question. Like in my brain, the constant cycle in my brain was, see, I'll never be free. There's no real actual freedom until Jesus returns.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be like my dad. I don't know what this will do. They've asked me to do it. I respect them. I'll do it. And what if? What if this might lead to freedom? But I'll never be free until Jesus returns. Like that was the cycle.
Was there any affirmation?
What? What do you mean?
Like that. So for me, what I deal with a lot of is you knew better than to try. All right.
Wait, what do you mean to try?
Well, this is to me specifically like when something doesn't work out. It's like, well, you should have known better than to try.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So for you, was there any affirmation of here, like you said, I'll never be free?
Yeah.
Okay, let me phrase this differently. What was the spiritual warfare on you as you're walking up to that podium? Obviously, it's that you can flee, right? That was there. Mm-hmm. But was there any, it doesn't matter what you say, this is who you are? You can't overcome this, or had you already turned the corner to, I can be free from this?
No.
I guess that's the real question.
No.
Were you to where this guy was?
No.
Yet?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't there for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that was rock bottom though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna be like a 6-part series the way we're going.
That's
but
right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's my next one? We're gonna jump.
I mean,
forward.
my memory card has like 4 hours 40 minutes left on it, so
yeah. No, I mean, I'm game, but
we could break this one up. That's what we could do.
we could.
Let's just bust it out, and then I could break it up into different
yeah.
sections.
All right, 37. Nope. That note was no good. 43. Okay, so this one was like, this is part of your application for Reset. I guess I liked Reset a lot.
Okay.
So
chapter Reset. What was
chapter 2?
Chapter 2. Okay, Reset.
And this is formative relationships, number 3, siblings and pairs.
Yeah.
And I like this one because this is something you've addressed multiple times in various teachings and in a lot of interpersonal conversation, is that idea that we want people to know the details.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's what I had highlighted here. So,
Okay.
I often identify better with people who deal with chronic diseases or ongoing health issues more than I do with those who are generally healthy.
Yeah.
I have felt understood by the elderly folks dealing with the grief of losing. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Of losing their friends. This is not what I just talked about. This is something totally different.
Okay.
I recall a conversation I had in my 20s with my respiratory therapist. I was asking her about the last few friends I had from my time growing up in the hospital, and she told me that they had all died. I felt alone. I often find myself gravitating towards people with similar experiences as me, people who I feel understand me. So, yes, it is related to that details thing we're talking about. Do you still struggle? I mean, obviously, chronic illness.
Yeah. Yeah, I still struggle with the chronic illness. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're not over that yet?
Yeah, come on.
Did you have someone you were particularly close to?
Yeah.
Or was it more just the sense of...
No. I had JR was my first friend that I made in the hospital. He good friend. He had gotten sick on a Friday and for one reason or another couldn't do his therapies, and by Monday he had died.
Oh my goodness.
And so that put a holy fear in me of I will never skip a therapy ever. And I remember one hospitalization I had, where when I was hospitalized, one of my friends died and we went to her funeral, kind of as a group, as a group. And then, there's, Elvina, she was one. I had very, very specific people in my mind. A kid named Michael. I remember he was actually my hospital mate, like back in the day. Now CFers, we get quarantined rooms. But back in the day you would share rooms, and him and I there's probably like 2 or 3 stints where him and I would share a room, and then he died. So yeah, it was like, no, these are not like faceless CF people who died, like very close friends, and people who identified with us, people who we would have multiple hospitalizations together and live hospital life together, so yeah, no, these were close friends. Yeah.
What did they establish about God?
What did say that? Sorry.
So you're in your 20s when this happened.
When my doctor had said,
told you this.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you'd experienced several deaths.
Yeah.
At a young age, but finding out that you're in your 20s. So where are you with God at that point?
Really close.
You're close. So you've turned that corner.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But growing up losing people, did that add to that picture of God as cold and remote? That figure that just squashes you, or was that just a part of life and don't worry about it? I mean,
man, great question. I've actually never thought about I've obviously thought about the impact of their deaths on me, right? But I think I've never thought about it with regard to my relationship with God. With Jesus, I think it impacted my connection to Jesus. I've always had this view that Jesus could not identify with me. And I think I've told the story where I remember looking up at this painting of Jesus in the garden, and he's suffering,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, this is like, I remember just looking up going, he doesn't have a disease. He doesn't have cystic fibrosis. He hasn't lost friends. He hasn't, all these things. And so I remember, okay. So that I think is where more than it being this like, oh no, all my friends are dying, Jesus can't relate to me. I think it was, I have cystic fibrosis. Most people can't relate to me. And see, even in losing my friends, you're not giving me anyone to relate to. Nobody can identify with what I'm going through.
As far as miraculous healings go,
Yeah.
like you've talked about it.
Yeah.
I very recently have been through some of those experiences with you.
Yeah.
Did this create any hangups for you
With regard to
the very idea of spiritual gifts, specifically healing?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. I
mean, you would think it would, but let's talk it through.
Beyond cynical.
Yeah.
When it came to healing ministries. I remember I would go to healing ministries just to I hope they pray for me, because watch, not healed. Like I remember one specific class that I went to, and it was at this Pentecostal charismatic church. My friend, God bless my friend, he just wanted me to be healed. Like,
yeah,
love his heart, but guy, my friend he's like, does anyone here have a sickness? And I'm just like, I'm not going to say anything. Of course, what does my friend do? He raises my hand, and I'm like, I hate you. And so the guy's like, what do you have? I'm like, I have cystic fibrosis. He's like, do you have faith to be healed? And I'm like, God can do whatever he wants. And he's like, no, but do you have faith to be healed? And I'm like, God can do whatever he wants. He's like, all right, in the name of Jesus, and whatever. He did his voodoo incantation. And I remember at the end, he goes, so what do you feel? I go, yeah, I still have it. Like, I just so cynical.
When you decided,
Yeah.
when you felt led to, I guess it was probably Lacey more than you, but whatever.
Yeah.
You're over a freedom ministry that includes healing ministries.
Right.
Was there a moment of irony for you? More than one, or
when we started, are you talking about back then, or are you saying right now?
Right now.
Oh,
or whenever you, because did y'all do a healing ministry at a previous church?
No.
Okay, so right now, is there a moment where God's like sharing a private chuckle with you, like
2 nights ago, Lacey and I are laying in bed. Honestly, we're like, who the hell are we to run a healing ministry? Mm-hmm. I have a chronic disease, cystic fibrosis, theoretically is terminal. You have chronic migraines and other health issues.
Watch it. One day you're gonna be on MSNBC or whatever with like the oldest living cystic fibrosis.
Yeah, right.
So next year, but
yeah. No, that is something. But this is where reading testimonies, reading people's biographies who've had healing ministries, and what's fascinating is every single one of them who's had a legitimate healing ministry. Okay. Talking about the Second Great Awakening in the early 1900s, documented cases of people being healed. They struggled with something, or they've had a loss of a family member, friend, or spouse from a disease. And it's just one of those things where it's like, God, you love irony, I think. Mm-hmm. I think he thrives in irony. And not just irony, I think he loves the deck stacked against him. Job is a great example. I've always called it the cosmic, God's cosmic gamble, because I really do. I think he's like, bring it. Let's stack everything against me, and my bet, chips all in, Job won't recant. I think he does. I think he thrives on testing us, not in the maniacal way. What I mean is, no, I created that person, and I bet you the enemy, I bet you he'll love me.
It's a confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a confidence. It's not a, what can I do?
But I mean, fair, that is the only example where that paid off for him.
No. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Hold on.
Saul, Jesus,
No.
Peter.
Hold on.
Maybe Judas is one off.
I mean, the one time where he's like, that guy won't let me down. You know? Because the rest of them, I mean, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we have that one story. Daniel. Yeah. A lot of stories. You know what? Whatever, shut up.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. This is one of the many resources we make available for free at our website, cultivaterelationships.com. Our resources have helped people grow in their relationship with God and others. We've seen people set free from uncontrollable anger and paralyzing fear. We've witnessed estranged family members be reunited after working through our freedom booklet. We've helped people build healthy relationship and coping habits through our coaching videos. And all of these resources are made available for free because of the generous support of people like you. If you would like to become a partner, please visit cultivaterelationships.com/support. Now, I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode.
Hand me my coffee cup, please.
Oh, yeah.
My awesome freebie that I paid. But no, so seriously, when I read that story, I remember I told Chelsea, I was like, I feel so terrible for him. like
the friend one, right? Or what one?
Yeah, losing the friends.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't remember. I think I was there with you and Lacey and Chelsea, but at some point I remembered my sister losing a friend when I was, once again, maybe around 10, to leukemia, and the tragedy that their family went through and the recovery that they had to go through spiritually. And they were fortunately full faith, full gospel, no hang-ups. Maybe some hang-ups, I don't know, but they were Holy Spirit believers. They'd been part of a church very similar to this one that we were in when I was a child.
Yeah.
Before the Reformed movement. But I realized that affected me more than I ever would have thought. Simply because I had brought it up in conversation, and then I was writing in my my journal time. Yeah. And it was there on the page. And I was like, oh. So for me, that loss was the first reinforcement that God doesn't heal. Yeah. Yep. And I had a few more opportunities to experience that. Yeah. to prove. I imagine to some degree, not only not just your health, because at some point, I messed with the wrong switch, I think. Oh. One of them doesn't do anything. I moved the mon level. Yeah. And I don't know if it's volume, but I definitely sound different, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, so I mean we could beat that horse to death. Yeah. Yeah. It's very sad. The book does get a little lighter. I mean it deals with more serious topics, but the stories get a little funnier. Yeah. I wanted to lay it on pretty thick in the beginning. All right. Okay, so I did the stories that I set up in the beginning. I was like, I have to set it up where I'm like, because I know where I'm going with regard to freedom. I'm like, I got to set it up where I do have experience in this, as in, hey, I'm not just like blowing smoke up your butt. I have experience with trauma. I'm not just like, oh, I've lived a nice life and you need to live a nice life. It's that authority is not the right word. Experiential authority. Experience, yeah. Yeah. It's whatever you want to say, but it's the authenticity. Yeah. I'm not just pontificating. Exactly. No, this has been proven. Like what I'm trying to communicate and invite you into is proven. Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to chapter 3. Sweet. Blame. Yes. Once again, I love the title. Revenge was their rule. Yeah. I was just helping them be true to their rule. I love this story. And after we... I don't even know if it's good parenting, but it... Okay, so she hit me. Well, she bit me because she touched me. Both girls were beyond reasoning. and I had fully embraced brutality as the only means of resolving this conflict. Completely overwhelmed and lacking self-control myself, I entered the fray. Why did you touch her? I snapped at one of them. Because she ripped my art project. She ripped mine first, the other interrupted. Having my own parental tantrum, I grabbed another art project from my daughter's hands and threw it at her sister. Here, rip this in half. She looked at me completely stunned. She ripped yours. Rip hers now.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's good parenting.
I obviously abandoned the conflict resolution techniques I taught in classes. She began to cry. She slowly ripped it in half. Once the tear made it through the paper, I grabbed the art project from her bag and threw it at her sister. Now rip hers. Get even. This is what you want, isn't it? I sarcastically questioned. Now, through growing tears and sobs, she muttered, "No, I don't want to be mean. She's my sister. I love her." That's all. Just
yeah, right.
Just the emotion we just went through.
I know.
So Raylan is a sneaky little child.
Yeah.
And she's super good at hiding in plain sight and surprising people.
Okay.
To the point that when they were, how old are they now? 11. Yeah. When she started this at like 8.
Okay.
So at 9, I told her to stop.
Okay.
Like it bothers Weston to be surprised. It's ADHD or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It does not. Like it amps him up to a point that it takes him a while to come down. And it was a pain in the butt for me to deal with. So I told her, I was like, from now on, when you surprise him like that, he gets to hit you.
Yeah.
He's got some boxing gloves. He'll put one on, he'll hit you. And you just got to let him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever actually happened. I think he's tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, not good parenting.
Yeah, right.
Didn't solve any problems. It now creates new problems because he's still like, I get to hit her, right? And I'm like, no, dude.
Yeah, we're past that.
Yeah. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, to be clear, this is when they were like 5 and 3. They
were that young? I imagine like 8 or 9.
Yeah, maybe 8 or 9. Huh?
No, kindergarten is like.
What's kindergarten?
5.
Okay, so 5 and like 7. 6 and 8, whatever. Anyways.
Whatever.
That, yeah.
So I like this story other than the fact that it's hilarious. Is that you emphasize the fact that you taught conflict resolution skills.
Yeah.
Being a parent is hard enough.
Oh, it's terrible. I think this is why.
Being a parent with no good experience.
Yeah, right. I think this is why Jesus was never married or a parent. It's because I think that sinless part would be gone.
Do you ever think he was like, are you sure I can't get married?
Yeah, right.
I want to experience the fullness.
Okay, no. I mean, whatever. I would say, yeah, I think so. He was tempted in every way as we are. That's what it says. So,
well, you know what the Catholics believe, so.
Whatever. I got to go with it. He was tempted in every way as we are, yet without sin. So I got to believe that.
All right, so once you realized what a jerk you were being to your 5 and 3-year-old.
Yeah.
What did Lacey say?
You know what's really funny is, to this day, I don't know if we weren't wrong. Like, I don't know if I wasn't wrong. I don't know if I was.
I wasn't right?
No, I think I was right. I still think I was right. Not like I did it perfectly, but you know when you kind of look back going, yeah, man, I kind of...
Did it work?
They learned the lesson. Revenge doesn't work, right? Like, so it makes you kind of wonder. And then, I don't know, like in the moment, I knew it was full Nate emotion, right? Like that wasn't right. But as I look back at it, I'm like, was I wrong?
So, were you the person, like, I know you discussed how you just kind of shut down and take it and you become like you get in your shell.
And then I volcano.
Did you have tantrums in your head the whole time? Like,
you know what's funny is I don't cognitively remember having tantrums. All of a sudden I just blow up though.
Mm-hmm.
Like It could be like a conflict like this, or it could be things are weighing on me and I don't value the fact that they're weighing on me. And then all of a sudden I'll be writing with my mechanical pencil and it'll break.
Oh yeah.
And I just
Who doesn't? Why do they still make those?
mechanical
I
pencils?
think it's just to make people mad.
No. I have really nice ones. I love my Zebra mechanical pencils.
I stole one of those.
You stole one of mine?
I know I did because I would never buy one, but I found one at my house. In my pen drawer, because I have zebra pen. I'm not gonna say I do steal your pen sometimes. Right here.
Okay. Hey, this is not a product placement. I'm just saying, Zebra mechanical pencils, 0.5 and 0.5 Sharpie pens.
I've been trying to figure out where that came from though, because I was like, I would never buy this. Oh, but I do like their pens. Their pens.
Yeah.
They're regular gel roll ball pens. That's my favorite.
See, I'm generally not a pen guy except for the Sharpie ones when I'll use it on occasion.
I like the gel pens if like you stop writing when they start to like just leak. Nope, can't do that.
Yeah.
Because I stop writing mid-word all the time. Because I write just enough cursive to be able to do it, but I have to think about it.
Yeah.
But I try to force myself to do it when I'm writing to myself because I'm probably never going to read it again anyway. Were you a vengeful person?
Oh yeah, but I'm the passive aggressive. Like my cheer for myself that Lacey does for me is be aggressive, passive aggressive. So like she'll cheer me on. Yeah, no, I'm the passive aggressive, 100%. The other day there was someone parked at a location that we're currently at. That they parked in a non-parking spot. It was actually where people drive through.
Oh yeah.
And I swear, if I had a piece of chalk, I would have created the lines around their car and put like parking. Like I was so just like, why are people idiots?
But were you that way with big things or just little things?
Just little things.
Yeah.
I numb out on big things. That's what's crazy is I have zero is it loyalty or defense? Like it's funny, Lacey will look at a situation between two people who have nothing to do with Lacey and she'll want to enter the fight to defend one of the people.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's because there's an innocent party and they need defending.
Yeah, but not my business.
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean is like, okay, this is an extreme example. Like if I saw someone murdering someone else, I'd be like, man, that is a sucky day for that person.
It's already dead. Can't fix that.
You know, what are you going to do? But then it's like, if my pencil breaks, I'm like, why are you against me? Like, why have you raised your hand to bring the world against me, your faithful servant? Like, it's.
So why?
Why what?
Why?
I think when it has to deal with me.
Yeah, but why?
Why?
Why are you like that?
Oh, because I had a screwed up childhood. I don't know. Okay, this is kind of the question of nature versus nurture, right? There are elements to not being empathetic that have served me very well in ministry. I don't like in couples, not even married couples. I'm talking about when two people need mediation. I don't mean I don't care. What I mean is I'm not emotionally invested. And so I can see clearly the two issues, right?
Yeah.
However, where that doesn't serve is when someone needs to feel cared for. Lacey's incredible at that. She will empathize with them, but that has also not served her well all the time.
Because you get too attached.
Yeah. And so I think that's what I mean by, is this nature, is it nurture? And by nature, I mean, is this a God-given gift? Is it unresolved issues? And kind of the answer is yes, right? Like, as I've resolved issues, obviously I can be more empathetic, and I've learned how to be more empathetic. But my default is, okay, we don't have to get emotions involved. Can we talk about this? Right? Like, that's my default. if that makes sense.
Well, and I remember very early on into me asking you to disciple me and you beginning to do that. And kind of, we used to walk together
Yeah.
before you were important. You had so
Whatever.
much, whatever.
I had so much free time and
It's so much free time when
Yeah.
we weren't dying. But I was sharing a very specific relationship with you that I don't remember what the question was, but my answer was simply, if I walk away from this, if I don't carry this, if I don't take this responsibility, they're going to die.
Yeah.
And you just looked at me and you're like, and that will be sad. And I just did not know how to take that, but it was almost like a cold, like somewhere between a cold rain and a slap in the face. Like there was an awareness of, it's going to happen with or without you.
yeah.
Like God can step in and fix this. You can't. But your presentation, for me, that lack of empathy worked.
Yeah.
And maybe because you were really the first person that wasn't super emotional
Right.
that is in my circle.
Yeah.
Chelsea jokes that all my best friends are just male versions of my wife.
Okay, all my best friends are male versions of
I know.
of my wife. Yeah, right. That's how. Yeah.
We have a type. It's
Yeah.
all right.
That's true. That's funny.
But most of my friends are more like me in that we're write the description of Lacey, passionate.
Yeah.
We're passionate.
Loyal.
Passionate. We want to get loud.
Yeah.
And fix this. And you're like the opposite. That would be sad.
That would be sad.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though. Okay, so anyone listening who doesn't know me, I'm not hard-hearted. You know me well enough to know I deeply care for you guys. Yeah. In that, for that specific story, you knew my character was, okay, I know he cares about me. He's challenging. Should I be? Is this something I have to be responsible for, or however that situation?
I think what you were challenging was my own misunderstanding of my role.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Because I understood that I was the boss.
Okay, right. Hold on.
But
I'm gonna pause real quick. Dealing with roles, Phil. This is one of those areas where, as I look back at my life, I genuinely thank God for. So specifically, me dealing with the role of husband to my wife, father to my children. I do not have the baggage of the male ego of having to provide for my family because I never could. Like in the general, you got to have the job and
the provider role.
Yes. Right. So here's in what that has afforded me. Now, that did not come without process, right? I remember one year, my passive-aggressive Nate, unresolved issue Nate, when a guy would introduce himself, like, hey, I'm Bob and I'm a construction worker. I'd be like, hey, I'm Nate and I sit on the couch all day. Like, I would just be that. You know what I mean? Right, because I was processing through, okay, I can't provide for my family. So who am I? What am I? Like, the Bible says that the husband's to provide for their family.
Proverbs.
So
all of Proverbs, right?
Yeah, right. Like, so it was me wrestling with, okay, what does provider actually mean? Anyways, so that some of the wisdom that I have is as a result of the deficiency that I grew up in. And I think that's what I mean by like some of our experience, the wisdom that we have comes from our experience, and our ability to speak into situations comes from, hey, I've already wrestled with this. and I see, right, that unnecessary weight that you're holding on to, being the provider of a home or whatever, being responsible for this situation. What if you just release that? How much better and more free of a person would you be to operate in that role without the added weight of, oh, if this doesn't work?
Well, and I think for me, what I was trying to be was God.
Yeah, exactly.
At least
exactly
to my
right.
wife.
Yeah.
Not that I don't mean to imply I was ever demanding that she worship me.
No.
Nice
But
when she does, but
I have to be the protector because there's no one else, including God.
exactly.
Yeah.
No one else can do this. I can't depend on anybody else. No one is going to help me.
And you can even throw in the Bible. It is a God-given role that I am here.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I mean, right, the man's the head of the family like Christ is the head of the church.
Yeah. He provides for the family, so I provide for my family.
Right.
Yeah.
So that what you were saying, though, that lack of empathy it has been a two-edged sword.
It really is.
But
just like empathy is. Both are two-edged swords.
Yeah.
Not honed in or not guided by the Holy Spirit. They are both equally destructive.
Because you can get worn out.
Both of them. Yeah.
Empathy can get you in situations that you never should have been in.
Exactly. Yeah.
I experienced that. I think no details provided, but I managed an entirely female staff.
Okay.
For nearly 2 years.
Okay.
Empathy can get you into trouble.
Mm-hmm. So this is where I think maybe unguided by the Holy Spirit, empathy can lead to unnecessary responsibility, and maybe the lack of empathy, not led by the Spirit, can lead to apathy, which that is 100% my story. Like, I would rather be like, not my deal. Right? Like,
go talk to Jeremy, go talk to Scott.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I've learned now, like, I can step into stuff. But, like, early on, where I see, again, like, two people going at it, I'm like, well, one of them's going to have a bad day. And one of them's going to prison. So,
in 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So you've already mentioned about how the conviction of the Holy Spirit to you a couple times was you're being like your dad.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine when you wrote this next little excerpt is that you kind of had that in mind.
Okay.
This is really frustrating because you have this throughout your book where you have a quote in here, but you don't source it. So I'm assuming it's you.
I quote myself.
Yeah, I mean, it says, so in quotes, our unwillingness to talk about past hurts is a symptom of incomplete forgiveness.
I have that in quotes? Hold on, let me see. Oh, no. That's, quoting, it's a pull quote.
It's a what?
A pull quote? So, like, when you're reading a magazine and it has, like, that's called a pull quote, and it's quoting a place in the book.
Yeah, but even in magazines, they tell you what they're quoting.
My book?
Yeah.
No, that's a popular thing.
Yeah. Whatever.
Because if you find that line in the book, it's not quoted.
It's not in the book.
Yes, it is.
It's not in the book.
It's in the book. It's probably on that page. Because I tried to do the pull quote next to the page that it's on.
I remember. I think that is like you're quoting. That text is the quote you're quoting.
What? Hold on. I'm making a note to myself. This is going to be future Nate.
Page 56.
Future Nate is going to fact check Phil.
Yeah.
Page 56.
Yeah. Honor, excuse 6. I can't forgive someone who is dead.
Yeah.
So that's one that I've been through.
Yeah.
I'm still wrestling with because there is a certain amount of, does it matter anymore? Who'd you have in mind when you wrote that?
I hope you're enjoying this conversation so far. This discussion will be continued in our next episode, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.